my review of episode number 147 of the Pathless Path Podcast with Paul, with Myles Snider. And yeah, this is not actually a review, and it's more of me just talking some thoughts. My review would be like, good podcast, watch it. Myles' story is very interesting, and yeah, Paul's questions are good. So yeah, watch it. I'm just going to give my thoughts on it. So the first thought I had was about this Grindset thing and about how I like Grindset memes and all that, but I don't really actually grind or anything like that. And then yeah, I was inspired by this part.
Easy for me though. I am lazy in that I can't do work I'm not motivated to do. Yeah. Other people can do this better than me.
Yeah.
Other people are just like, all right, I'm going to put my heads down and grind for a few months and like really work on this. Like I suck at that.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, basically I just wanted to say literally me and say that I'm just like that as well. But like paradoxically or something like that, or maybe ironically, I don't know, I do like the grind memes. I don't know. Yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, I had my Reddit account here. I wanted to scroll through my Reddit account to see like the memes I've posted that are on this vibe, but they are pretty embarrassing. So yeah, just look them up if you want to. But yeah, I'm going to try to find examples. Yeah, basically these kind of hustle memes, I like them a lot. And I don't know, I think they're funny. And then the Sigma Grindset memes, but those are like more explicitly kind of making fun of the phenomenon. But yeah, I like the memes as well. I don't know, they felt like nice. It's like, let's get that fucking bug, let's grind. I like the memes, but I'm not actually like that. I cannot do stuff unless, I don't know, it comes intrinsically for me. Well, I can do it, but I will do my best not to do it until I have to do it, basically. So yeah, I'm exactly like Paul said, that I'm not the person that can be like, yeah, I'm going to grind for 6 months on this thing that I don't care about and then do my thing. No, I'm just basically like forever postponing grinding on stuff that I don't care about until an opportunity comes where I can grind, basically. And that was the first thought that I had while listening to this. I don't know why I came with this Reddit memes hustle culture thing, but yeah, I found it funny and I wanted to say it. So yeah, this is the video. Then the next thing I wanted to talk about, because it was kind of relatable, was this cold emails thing. Here, Myles talks about how he just cold emailed some chef to get a job.
And I'm like, this looks amazing. So I cold emailed the chef, and I ended up emailing him like 3 times before I got a response, just asking for a job, which is another lesson for people. Every like good job I've gotten came from cold email versus like applying formally to a job. And we can talk.
And yeah, basically that was like, he gives the lesson and I'm like, okay, I'll receive the lesson. And I wanted to think about this. In my small experience, I do think that cold emailing or like cold DMing someone is like, I don't know, there's some kind of magic to it. I think, for example, Patio11, this person, Patrick Mackenzie from X-Stripe, I think, or maybe it's still in Stripe, I don't know. But yeah, this guy is like, yeah, his blog is popular and he has like good advice, good career advice, I guess, like in the tech world and stuff like that. And yeah, he has this popular blog post that's about cold emailing people and that you should probably send more cold emails. And I'm like, I think about this and then, yeah, it's like I'm starting to warm up to it. I think it's a nice bit of advice that I'm not actually taking, but I'm more just saying shit online to basically no one, or to everyone. But yeah, this is something that I'm considering, and yeah, it's interesting that yeah he gives like some bits of advice of how to write cold emails and stuff like that. But yeah, basically that I do agree that cold emailing is nice, and that, for example, I've received a couple of cold DMs and stuff like that, and yeah, they're usually nice. It's like a nice to receive them, and I guess when you get like to bigger positions and to bigger levels of like being known, they can start to get annoying, I guess. But yeah, for stuff like getting specific jobs, I think it's nice. It's nice that you show interest and that you're like letting yourself be guided by curiosity combined with cold emailing or cold DMing, because these online platforms allow for it. I don't know. I think there's a mix of that's cool and that I vibe with, but that kind of doesn't seem something like that's too common, I guess. Or that the feeling of you should probably send more email than you do is there, right? It's like it probably could be taken up a level by many people, and it will be positive for them or for both, for every party in the email section involved. Yeah, basically that. The next topic that I resonated with, and that in this case is because I think I'm also missing it. In the same way that the cold email thing was some advice, I think this is another thing that I'm kind of missing. Well, yeah, the cold advice was some advice, therefore I'm missing. Well, this is another thing that could be considered advice, even though it's not worded as such, but that I also think I'm missing and could be beneficial.
When I first got there, I was like, what have I gotten myself into? This, like, I wanted to quit, but I didn't, and I'm really glad that I didn't. And so, eventually it became this like amazing experience. It was very, very hard work the whole time, but I learned so much. I got so much out of it. I made like...
Yeah, he's talking about working as a chef or something like that, I guess. Yeah, working in this restaurant, not sure what the echelons on cooking are. Maybe it's like helping. I don't know. I don't recall all very well. But yeah, it was like this crash course.
It was like just a crash course in the most chaotic, crazy, hardworking work environment I've ever been a part of. Like 14-hour days on...
That this is the cold email job. And yeah, I think that I'm kind of missing this thing, this intensity, I think there could be some benefit of me going into some kind of experience like this. But the thing is that fuck it, I can talk about it. I don't really want to do it on people's terms that I don't respect, right? It's like, for example, a lot of people talk about this, about the military and stuff like that. And maybe in the United States, people have like a lot of respect for the military and whatever, but I personally don't really have a lot of respect for the military, just like as an institution in my country, which is Spain. I don't really hate the military as well either, but I don't have like a lot of respect for it because of there is history in Spain that, long story short, that I don't really respect it a lot. I think there are cool parts and there are bad parts, and the bad parts are pretty fucking annoying. For example, this hierarchy thing from what I've heard in stories and stuff like that, there is always like this kind of corruption and power imbalance and taking advantage of other people just for dumb shit. It's like it's a weird environment. So yeah, even though people would probably say that military formation is tough and it hardens you or whatever, it's like I don't fucking want to be hardened by someone who I don't respect, right? He seems like he cold emailed someone who he respected and then got this kind of learning experience, but that also was tough. But at least it was for someone who he respected, right? He was benefiting. He was doing 14-hour days and in tough conditions for at least something respectable, like working for a chef who he thought had a nice restaurant and stuff like that, which is, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, not that bad, right? And yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about. I like this bootcamp experience is nice, but I don't want bootcamp for the military, for example, literally bootcamping for the military, or bootcamping for some fucking consulting company that I don't like, for whom you are just another cog, and that kind of thing, right? So that's my issue with it. But I think that it would be beneficial for me, even though I'm not going to do it, don't plan to do it in the short term. in this bit they are talking about, the context is a bit of talking about their audiences and how monetizing audiences slowly versus more fast is better or worse, slowlier or faster. It's better or worse, and how these kind of tactics, and they start talking about.
I would guess your audience is much more valuable than somebody with a few 100,000 followers sharing like, here are the 10 ways to leverage AI tools to make $100,000.
Exactly. And I believe that too.
Yeah, and this is funny because I like the 10 best 10, the top 10 things, the thread boys, the LinkedIn type people. Yeah, I find I find that concept funny, and it reminds me of this person, Dan Coe, I don't know, this guy who makes videos that I watch and that I like, and who has like all these content courses and stuff like that, and who also has a very writing style that is not exactly top 10 things or whatever, but that is very like this, right? It has like the the Twitter cadence, right? The Twitter thread boy cadence, like this spacing, and he has like his framework, and he teaches it in his 2-hour writer course. And I think it made me think, and I think I'm siding more with this kind of stance, right? Like this authentic stance, this kind of more real, this kind of marketing in an authentic way, where you build more trust, and that those dynamics are better, in my opinion, than what this guy sells. And for example, he himself, in my case, is like another example of it, because I don't follow I follow him on Twitter, but I don't follow him on Twitter for his tweets. I follow him on Twitter because he came up in my YouTube recommendations, and then I got there through it, right? I liked his videos, which are this kind of marketing, but more thoughtful, more long form, more trustworthy. You can hear what he says, you can hear the context behind it, instead of this kind of writing. So I think that I have in my notes, I have this line, which is like, I'm guessing that his 2-hour writing course is like 2018 wisdom sold in 2023, right? I think it's maybe a bit of a harsh sentence, and if Dan is watching, which I don't think so it doesn't matter, but in case he's watching, I don't literally mean this, and I think it's nice that you sell it, and if people buy it and they are happy and it works for them for what they want to do, fucking awesome. But I think that the vibe that I get from it, without having bought the course or anything like that, but just seeing like his tweeting style, it's that, I don't know, I get this 2018 wisdom vibe in 2023, right? So maybe his actual tweets aren't that bad, or they're thoughtful or whatever, okay, but I think that the way he's packaging the thing and selling it is probably going to end up in people being this top 10 type of, building this top 10 type of lists that don't really that I don't really like, for example, that I don't really like seeing. And that the approach talked about in the podcast, which is basically build trust slowly, from maybe an audience, talking about things that you care about, and basically the Gary Vee approach, I guess. He talks about it as well. He talked about it a long time ago in this jab, right hook book, I think, which is basically doing jabs, so not selling stuff and then eventually selling something. But in this case, slowly, and being authentic and that kind of stuff. And I think that approach is more timeless. So it's not a 2023 approach exclusively. It's not something that you can sell in 2023 only, and then in 2028 it's going to be irrelevant. No, it's the opposite. It's something that will continue to be like this. It's like being authentic is like the recipe in general, if you want to be there for a long time. And I could be wrong about Dan Coe's course. Maybe the course is excellent, and maybe the rating is actually a good rating course. I don't care. That's the vibe I'm getting, basically.
Run through this exercise where you think about like
Okay, I've paused because I realized I didn't talk about the context. Yeah, so I don't think it's actually necessary. But the next clip is about how they're talking about what they do for fun and stuff, and all these things, and talking about like the future of their paths. So this clip is about that.
That help people learn how to cook, because I've run through this exercise where you think about like, okay, if I sold the company and I had 20 million in the bank, like what would I do? Like, not a ton about my life would change. There's certain things that I'd do differently, but I would still want to do this because I love it so much and I care about it, and it gives me meaning, and like it's more meaningful to me to do this than to just sit on a beach somewhere and not do anything.
I thought about this line, and I think this topic isn't like new, and it's been covered. I don't know how to say it. There is a short expression that I forgot. It's in Latin, I think, but it's been covered every fucking where, and everyone talks about it. It's like talking about money 101, I think, basically. But it's a nice excuse to talk about it for me now, and I'm going to do it. So essentially, I thought about this 20 million in the bank question, and that's how I think lately of ambition, right? It's like, because when I talk about ambition, I talk about it in the friendly, ambitious nerd context, right? In this visa framework. And I think of, so what am I ambitious about? And that is, if you had 20 million, like retirement money, what the fuck would you do? And I think that there are some people who I would call unambitious, who, if they had the 20 million in the bank, they would choose the sitting on the beach route. And I actually think that that's all right, and actually good. And in fact, I thought about it in this. Well, yesterday I saw this post, which is like, what is something that old people love that you don't understand? And they talked about how old people just sit in front of their houses and just watch the day pass, right? And they give people watch or hang out, and I think that's actually a really nice experience. And I tweeted about it. I tweeted about it and said, this is what life is all about, right? Because, kind of life is that, after all, right? But it's like, that's like the ultimate ambition. It's like, once your ambitions are done, you can contemplate life. You can live the contemplative life. And I think for some people, which I call ambitious people, there is something that must be done before that stage, and that's what I call ambition, right? Like, what would you do if you had 20 million in the bank? And that's kind of this episode, and this, I don't know exactly why, but that context helped me think about it in this way, right? Like, this thing had been brewing in my mind, and now it's more like, okay, I thought about this and this makes sense. And so basically, that I like this goal, but I think that stuff needs to happen before that, right? And that's what I call ambition. And basically, that's it. Those are all the topics that I wanted to talk about it today. And this wasn't actually a review, but I wanted to do this, so I did it. There's not much more to it. And so this is one video from my series of 100 videos. Watch more if you want. If you don't.